Welcome to Techmark Pod, where we innovate, discuss, and discover the dynamic intersection of technology and marketing. In each episode, we explore how businesses can leverage both to drive growth and innovation. Meet Alvin, our esteemed host for Techmark Pod. With over 15 years of experience as a renowned marketer, project manager, and software as a service architect. Join us as we uncover the unique value proposition of integrating technology and marketing strategies, helping you stay ahead in this fast-paced digital world.
Welcome to Techmark Pod. Pat, should I say the whole name? Togozani Patrick or Pat on Brands?
Call me by the VIN number. That's the VIN number.
Just the VIN number, that's all.
That's the VIN number. No, you can call me Pat Mahlangu.
Pat Mahlangu, okay. Yeah. It's a pleasure having you on the podcast. I would like to think, for me, you're like an epitome of black excellence. You understand?
Interesting.
The things that you have done, they might look small to you, but they've disrupted the industry. You understand? So from a marketing point of view, and I also understood that you're a tech person somewhere. So
yeah, somewhere I was going to be a tech person. But somehow, I didn't enjoy programming or coding, as you guys call it.
Yeah.
In the IT space, and that's when I switched from IT to marketing.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. But you still have that tech behind you, or you just forgot about it and you just moved on to marketing?
Obviously, in today's world, there's a big link between tech and marketing. And I think I'm grateful that I started there because, tech doesn't scare me. Some people, whenever there's a new technology that comes up, they get all nervous and shivery. Tech doesn't scare me. I embrace it, but I use it to obviously build brands.
Great. So I have understood that there is Pat on Brands. There is Lerato, and then there is you as a brand, as Pat Mahlangu, because I understand you are now an author as well.
Yeah.
I read your article on Biz Community. Trust me, I used to read Biz Community 10 years ago.
Got you.
And there was no Pat Mahlangu on Biz Community 10 years ago. Do you understand?
Of course, because 10 years ago I was a student.
Do you understand what it means?
Yeah.
But there was not an older one in any case. Now there's a Pat Mahlangu writing on Biz Community. I would understand a marketing student in 2025 reading an article written by Pat Mahlangu they can relate to more than anything else.
Got you.
So that's how you have changed the game. You understand? I'm almost like maybe summarizing it, but I want you to give us a history on who you are, your brands, and how did you get here?
Yeah. I am Pat Mahlangu, a.k.a. the brandpreneur.
I like it.
I refer myself as a brandpreneur because all my life, all my interest, all my business endeavors are around building brands, right? If you look at Pat on Brands, it's around brands. If you look at Lerato Agency, where we craft brands that people love, brands. If you look at the Top16 Youth-Owned Brands Awards, brands. So my life revolves around brands, and I work and I make a living from building brands, hence the brandpreneur. But interestingly enough, I might change from being a brandpreneur.
Okay.
One day, I'll tell you why.
Yes.
So one of my mentors, I was having a chat with him yesterday, and he said, businessmen make money, entrepreneurs struggle. I was like,
I felt it. Maybe I need to rethink myself.
But I guess we have to start somewhere.
Yes, we have to start somewhere, definitely. Yeah,
as entrepreneurs.
Okay, so I think let's start with, I don't know which one started. Is it Pat on Brands or Lerato started? I think it's Pat on Brands.
Pat on Brands. So Pat on Brands is like the mother that keeps on giving birth to these beautiful children.
Yes.
In a way, because it all started with Pat on Brands, and really Pat on Brands started off as a passion project at uni. I started a blog, www.patonbrands.com, where I just gave pats and slaps on brands. So what does that mean? When I do like brand reviews or do commentary on campaigns or brand campaigns, and when a brand delivers on its promise, it'll get a pat, and if it fails to do so, it'll get a slap.
Yeah.
So that's how it all started, and I must give credit to the brilliant work that was done by Jeremy Maggs on Maggs on Media, because that's what sort of inspired Pat on Brands. Like, if there's a Maggs on Media, there can be a Pat on Brands. And that's how I started. Back in 2016, I was doing my first year of my master's at UJ.
Yeah.
Then, I was studying and I was just running it as a passion project until 2019, where now I was doing it like full time. And after I shot a very short stint at an agency, a digital marketing agency. And since then, 2020, I started Lerato Agency, right? And the whole purpose of Lerato Agency is to craft brands that people love. And in 2020, we started the Top16 Youth Own Brands Awards to celebrate and recognize youth excellence in brand building.
Wow. That's amazing. That's an amazing journey that you have had. So when we look at Peton Brands, would we call it a media company? Or what exactly would you define Peton Brands now? Because I understand possibly your vision or the idea that you had when you knew uni, it has actually changed as you go along the years.
Of course, and change is inevitable, on your entrepreneurial journey. Oftentimes how you start something, you start, say, for example, hypothetically speaking, you're starting an agency and you have this vision that you're going to be servicing big brands, or you're going to be servicing a specific industry, or you're going to be providing a specific service. But somehow the market, swings in a different direction. And that's okay, So when I started Peton Brands, really, I thought at the time, and even some people still refer me to Peton Brands, it was sort of also like a personal branding.
It really sounds like one.
Exercise, right? Yeah. And I guess you'd say that by virtue of my name being attached to the platform, right? And I can't run away from that. However, it's been 8 years now. And over the years, and looking back, as Steve Jobs famously said, that you can only connect the dots looking back. So it was good that I started off Peton Brands because it put my name out there. Then afterwards, I started an event series called the Peton Brands Dialogues, which were bringing captains of industry and young emerging marketers and entrepreneurs under one room.
Yeah.
Then fast forward to that, the Top16 Youth Own Brands Awards were actually born under the Peton Brands banner, but they quickly grew, and now they're like sort of a standalone entity. And under the Peton Brands banner, just to answer your question, it is a modern day media company.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our Peton Brands platform, which is petonbrands.com, where you can read about or find content about what's happening in the world of brands in South Africa and even globally.
Yeah.
Then we also have the podcast, the Peton Brands podcast.
You're on episode 75 now.
Yeah.
This is episode 8, to be clear.
And look, you already have a superstar on your show.
No.
You know how long it took me to have big names on my...
I mean, if this was a hip-hop show,
yeah,
you know what would they say? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a hyena in the building. The hyena is here. You know what I mean?
But I see a leopard behind me. Anyway. So Peton Brands, right? It being a media platform, like I said, we've got the podcast.
Yeah.
Then we have the series of events that we are running.
Yeah.
That, like I mentioned, the Peton Brands dialogues. Then we have what we call... there's some properties that are in the pipeline that we're going to be launching under the Peton Brands banner. But what we are doing now is that we also invite guys like yourselves who are in the industry, brands, agencies, to actually establish their press office on the Peton Brands
I like it.
platform.
I like it.
We invite guys like yourselves to come submit content, opinion pieces about, whatever you think. Like, for example, you being a tech guy as well as a digital marketing guy, you can sort of, submit pieces of content. We do executive profiling, and so almost 9 years later, this is the rebirth, I call it, of Peton Brands, but now it's taking a different shape and format. We're going mainstream as a media platform, and the positioning will be like that as such going forward.
I want to ask you a question. I want to take it to something like this popular question that has always been asked, but probably had no answer to it. Do you think leaders are born or made?
That's an interesting thing. I'm in question.
Yeah.
Because you're asking this question in a time when I've been thinking about a lot of things. And from where I'm sitting right now, I feel like in this era, anyone can be anything they want to be. And if you look at even like the geopolitics and you look at leadership, in a way, in my view, obviously you can grow faster as a leader by having naturally some characteristics.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you are, this flamboyant, charismatic person, you can easily influence people to follow you.
To follow you.
But if you are shy, you have to work sort of harder to become influential and be able to influence people.
Okay.
So I say, in short, to answer your question, leaders are made and leaders are born.
Yeah.
And if you follow American politics or American leadership, you can clearly see that. Also, if you study like human behavior, and in the main, these people are actors. They are curated.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And I think if you have an ambition to be a leader, and obviously then you take the time to study other leaders, and you take the time to invest in yourself, to invest in your knowledge, your experience and expertise, you can become a leader. So leaders in the main are made.
They're made. Okay. Do you think you are made or you are born a leader?
That's a very interesting question. I'd say both.
Yeah.
I'd say both because you can only go so far with your natural talents and abilities.
Yeah.
But along the way, you have to create certain things and parameters. Like, for example, let's look at the politicians, right? Why is it that politicians, particularly in the South African context, are always late at events?
I'm not so sure how to answer that one. They're always late at events. That's an interesting one.
In the main, if a politician says they're going to come speaking at 9 on the program,
they're there too.
How do you know? Why?
Yeah, that's why. What do you think? What did you find out? It seemed like you had an answer to that one.
Because in the main, being late, it means you're keeping people on the edge of their seat. Of the seat. There's a certain level of importance around you. That's why then when you walk in, there's an entourage, and people are like, okay, now he's here, and it creates some sort of importance, and it creates a certain level of he's leadership. Do you get me?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So those kinds of things, they are curated.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Why can't you just see Ramaphosa walking alone on the street?
No,
because it will reduce him to an average man.
Yeah, it will, definitely.
If you think about
it's all psychological.
Even though, the others would argue and say it's for security reasons that they have all these many whatever. But in all honesty, it's to create mystery, interest, and an end. So it's all curated, and in that way, it elevates their profile and stature in society, right?
Interesting.
And this obviously then comes to when it comes to like being an orator as well, because they get trained how to speak.
Definitely.
For example, if you're speaking in a podcast, if you're interviewing Martin Luther King, he would say, "I have a dream." You say, "No, I have a dream to see, America one day."
What you mean?
But all of these things are learned and and taught in a way when you're speaking in a stadium at a rally versus when you are in a podcast
is different.
Versus when you are in a boardroom meeting.
Yeah,
those are but so you have to be aware, and that awareness comes with being taught, being exposed to certain things.
Definitely. So I want us to speak about is it IOBA, the awards?
The YOBAs.
YOBA's awards, right? Tell us the history of the YOBA's awards, the success of the YOBA's awards as it stands today. Yeah, let's get into that one.
So the YOBA started with an article in 2021. And on the article I was writing, as you know, around June every year, media houses are putting the spotlight on young people. But oftentimes when they did that, it was just around, talking about the individual. Alvin
Yeah.
is a young person, is doing X,
That's
Y,
it.
Z, da, 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 da. But there was never there were never, I'd say, sort of stories or publications of the role of young people in the economy and what they've built, and in this case, brands.
Yeah.
Right. So they'll talk about Alvin as an individual, but they will talk about TM.
Yeah. Techmark Pod. Yeah.
As a business, as a brand that's creating employment opportunities for other young people, that's making an impact, that's paying tax, contributes to the country's fiscus. So I took that approach to highlight top 16 youth-owned brands.
Brands, yeah.
And I published the article obviously on our platform patternbrands.com, and some of the people that were listed there hit me up and say, "Yo, Pat, you have no idea what you've done.
Wow.
You give us, you gave our brands."
Was this before the Mail and Guardian for you, or after Mail and Guardian?
It was before.
Okay.
It was before. I started recognizing young people and giving our, personally, not like, obviously I don't make the choice who gets to win an award,
Yeah.
but I created a platform that recognizes youth excellence before I was recognized, before I even won an award.
Yourself.
Exactly.
You were a very selfless man.
And if you think
we appreciate that leader. You're very selfless. You recognize others, and now you're being recognized.
And I always say, magic happens when you start doing things that are bigger than yourself. That's when you realize it. So then people called me up and said, "Pat, look, we are honored to have been listed. We used the recognition to motivate our products to get listed at XY retailer." And I was like, "Oh, wow. It really means a lot." Some put it on their, Instagram bio. And I was like, okay, there's something here. Then I remember having a chat with one of my mentors, Dr. Terry Alafeng, and I asked him, like, I'd like to recognize, young people at a grander scale, based off the article.
The article, yeah.
And he was like, "I'm not going to tell you how you're going to do it, but that will be your biggest project for 2022. So pretty much you're saying, go figure.
Go figure it out.
But you're onto something, because that's what I gathered. And indeed, then I went home, cracked my head, and I was like, okay, maybe let's start an awards show, that will recognize and celebrate youth excellence in brand building. Wow. And we started in 2022 officially an awards show, and it was well received, well attended. The story was well told across various mainstream media houses, and we are now planning our fourth one, or getting ready for our fourth iteration of the YOBAs. We've recognized some really amazing brands, and it's interesting, some of these brands also, after you can sort of see in a way, and not that I'm taking full credit or taking credit for their hard work and whatever, but you can see before and after a brand wins a YOBA. There's plenty of brands that
opportunities.
After they won a YOBA, they're just flying. They're opening up stores, or they're buying more fleets for their cars.
I think you don't. I don't know if you really understand what you did for these young people.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to talk about their stories, no one was going to talk about their stories. No one was going to identify them. And
Absolutely.
This is the platform that really helps them to pivot from just an idea to a proper startup and getting on with the business. I mean, if you think about it in the long run, it will really help with unemployment in this country.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's already helping.
Man,
if you think about it, and I have an hypothesis.
Yes,
that a young person today that leaves university or any institution of higher learning stands a far better chance of getting employment at a youth-owned business than at a big corporate or a government institution.
You can say that again.
And I'll tell you why. When you were starting out, your first business, did you hire an old woman or an old man somewhere to help?
No, I had young people.
You had young people?
Yes.
So you employed other young people as a young person
As a
yourself.
young person, yeah.
So imagine then you multiply you by 100, by thousands.
True.
You see, so I also hold the view that the high youth unemployment crisis can be solved by young people.
It can.
It's
That's
just that
100%.
It's just young people need the support. They need a conducive environment for them to, turn their ideas into reality, turn their businesses into brands. They need to be supported. There needs to be a massive drive and some level of intentionality to support youth-owned businesses if we want to solve high unemployment. I was sitting the other day.
Yeah.
I was invited to some event, and there's a big corporate, very big corporate. Yeah, and they were giving a report, and they were like, obviously, corporates take part in the presidential youth employment scheme.
Yes, youth.
Yes, youth.
Yeah.
And they're like, we took on, I think it was 1,000, young people.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 years ago. 2 years later, they were able to absorb 5 permanently.
5 out of 1,000. Because I would take 5 and I want to absorb 5. What percentage is that?
And people
we're dealing with unemployment.
And you say, do you get me?
I get what you say.
So I'm sitting there like for example, right? Like I'm sure you know this as well. You might have experienced this as a young entrepreneur. You get someone fresh out of varsity, raw as they come.
Definitely.
In a way, they know theory, they don't know the practical side of marketing or whatever space you're employing them for. You train them, you give them practical experience. A year later, they now become attractive to bigger
enterprises.
Enterprises that can pay them more. And obviously they leave you because, look, you can't match that.
You can't, yeah.
You get me? So why are they failing to see that actually in building and capacitating the country with skills and that's where we should start? And yes, although it hurts you and I, you take someone as raw they come,
then you
invest in them and
nurture them, and then they grow
and they go.
Yeah.
But to see that as a pipeline for talent and for employment creation, because it's easier for you to make the decision now if you see a young person walks through the door and says, "Hey man, listen, I just graduated out of UJ or VETS or UCT or TVET college. I just need an opportunity." You can say yes, like now. You don't have to consult anyone.
Definitely.
You don't have to say send an email.
I think with the Yobas, you open a can of worms on a lot of things that you are saying right now, and this is our lived experience as business owners. Yeah. That we experience every day. I just want us to maybe conclude on the Yobas quickly. Yeah. When is the Yobas happening this year? How do then young entrepreneurs enter into the Yobas, or how do they get selected? Because definitely maybe there's someone who's listening who's a young entrepreneur and want to be recognized, or I want to submit someone to be recognized. Yeah. How does it work, and how do you qualify?
Yeah, so the Yobas this year are happening on the 21st of June in Sandton, and really at the core of it is that as a young, you can either nominate yourself or you can nominate another young person's business. It's all happening on our platform, Top16 YOBA.Africa. All the nomination criteria information is there. And the criteria is simple. The brand has to be owned and run by youth. Yeah. We're referring to persons between the ages of 18 and 35.
We just said to make sure the youth ends at 35.
Yeah, it's constitution,
so that we don't get the 45 youth entering.
No. And they always ask, what about us?
We still need to be recognized, so we want to enter there.
There's 40 under 40 elsewhere. There's many other platforms.
There's other platforms. Okay. I think we can round up this conversation now with the Yoba, and I think you've done very well with this platform. I can't wait to be part of the audience at the Yoba. This will be my first time attending the Yobas. I'm excited. So, Pat, you have Lerato Agency, right? I wouldn't do justice with us discussing marketing and everything else and not talk about Lerato Agency. This is the reason why we are here, because we are business people and we want to tell the world our story, who we are, what we do, our capabilities, you know. And I want to know more about Lerato and who is this target markets that you're trying to reach to, and who have you worked with that we can brag about to say, look, we've done these great things. But before you say something, your introduction of Lerato Agency is one for the books. I loved it. I was not there, but I think it was just amazing. You know, it was just an amazing introduction of this agency from a young black man, and I loved it. You can go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think, you know, when we started, right?
Yeah.
We opened our doors officially on the 9th of July 2020. And that's when we had that spectacular...
COVID, yeah.
I think we were on level 4, level 3, somewhere there, of the hard lockdowns. And I was very intentional, you know, in terms of how we're going to launch into the market. Hence, we did quite a bit of a spectacle, you know. We had a virtual launch, and I had Bulele Bodisa, who's now at 947 as a presenter, to host the show and do an interview with me. And the reason why we did that, you know, we wanted to, and also we still have, I think, one of the most beautiful websites, you know, in the agency world, particularly South Africa, in that we wanted to eliminate any sense or inch of doubt that we were not capable of crafting brands that people love. And we're very intentional about that. And as you know, how the industry is currently set up is really not favorable.
Yeah, it's not.
For smaller guys who didn't spend decades in agency corporate world, to start an agency that will become a formidable player, right? And we started Lerato Agency out of, you know, the vision, you know, to be a catalyst for brand love.
Yeah.
And the name Lerato actually comes from, is actually my one and younger sister's name.
Beautiful.
Lerato. And I love her so much.
Yeah.
And she's still alive, because oftentimes, you know, I get asked the question.
I'm sorry, but I was about to get said. Now I'm like, okay, where's this going? Okay, thank goodness.
She's still alive, very much so. She's down in Cape Town.
Yeah.
She's strong and healthy. But yeah, it just made sense, you know, to name the agency after her.
Okay.
And just out of pure love for her as well. But in the main, we craft brands that people love. I mean, we service both small and big brands. I mean, we've had the privilege of working with some really amazing brands locally and globally as well.
Okay. So if we are to break down your service offering for Lerato Agency, I understand you craft brands, right? So I'm thinking of a layman who's a business owner. This layman, if you say, we craft brands, they'll be like, okay, what exactly are you talking about? They would want to understand, what do you mean by crafting the brand? Because this layman or a business person who started their business, all they want to do is to have an electrical company running around in Midrand and four ways. No, they would want to start an engineering company. And all the stuff. They want to know, what does Lerato Agency do for them?
Got you. I mean, we have what you call, you call it services, we call it our 5 love languages.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We call them 5 love languages, and the main is PR. So we craft narratives for brands, stories. We, you know, create reputations and protect reputations for customers. I mean, for our clients, we do media relations, and so that's under the love language of PR. Then we have digital marketing, you know, do all things social media related, to develop websites. We rather craft websites, you know, email marketing, SEO, and now obviously AI, dabbling with some of the tools that comes with AI, and we're trying to obviously improve efficiencies within the agency, but also deliver great value to our clients. Then we also do design and branding, so graphic design work. You want a profile for electrical company designed and done professionally, you know, or you want a branded water, or, you know,
any branding, basically.
Corporate gifting, and we also do deliver on that. Then we have content creation. which I think is very important in this day and age, because oftentimes you hear people say, "Oh, but we're on social media."
Yeah.
But social media doesn't do anything for you if you're not feeding it.
Definitely, and
with
curating
content
the correct content.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So content creation is also a love language that we understand very well. Then we also do events, as you might have seen, because everything that you see with the YOBAs is actually done by the Lerato Agency, particularly from an events project management perspective, from the experience, from the look and feel, from the PR that we enjoy. So that's all done in-house.
Before I forget, so you can see my T-shirt, right?
It's Kaho Events.
Event management software developed in South Africa. Okay. Yeah. So if you know, you know.
You need to tell me more.
If you know, you know. We'll talk about that more as we go along. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we also, events. It's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Of the stuff that we do very well.
Okay. I know that's amazing. I think that answers my question, because I would then want to know what is it that I can get from Lerato, the agency. And when in the early 2000s, right? There was a shift in technology.
So I hear.
You hear, right? So they used to call it the topsy-turvy times.
The topsy-turvy
times. Everything else was happening very fast. Do you understand? Internet was booming and social media was coming up, and there was a lot of disruption in technology and everything in our daily lives, right? But I would like to believe we are back in the topsy-turvy times again with AI.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? There's a lot of disruption that's happening with AI. And
is it really disruption or is it hype?
I don't think it's hype, but it's happening.
Okay.
If you think about it, you own an agency. Do you understand that repetitive tasks that your people used to do a few years ago, that repetitive task has become shorter. If they used to take them 2 hours to do it, now it's 30 minutes to do it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it becomes shorter as we go along. If you can develop an AI agent, you might not need someone to be posting on social media, because the AI agent can post on social media.
Got you.
But you have a guidance of a human being to make sure that this is correct information that's going to be scheduled and posted.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So that's why I would like to think that we are back to the topsy-turvy times where we were some years ago when there was the rise of social media, and we are back here now, right? There's DeepSeek. There is what you call OpenAI, the ChatGPT. There's the French came up with something else as well. You understand?
Last week
or so, I think the French came up with something else as well, and they believe theirs is better than DeepSeek.
What is it called? Bonjour?
Yeah, it's not called Bonjour, but it is another name. I actually forgot. I'm actually behind with the rise of all these things that's happening.
Got you.
So
I know India is also working on.
Exactly, you understand
something.
what I mean. India is also working on something.
Something. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying.
You understand what I mean. So, as a marketer, what do you think brands should do in 2025 in order to survive these topsy-turvy times that are happening within the industry? And I would like to point back to your article that talks about the trends. Trends. You said trends end. Trends end.
Yeah,
but focus on brands. Yeah. It almost sounds like what you call this saying, where they say. I think they say drip is forever. Yeah.
Brand is forever.
Yeah. You know that I mean. Yeah. So take it away.
So I mean, obviously, to your point of the topsy-turvy times that you're talking about, they come and go. You know, even this one, it will go at some point.
It will definitely go at some point.
And maybe just on this AI issue. I mean, obviously, only now I think AI has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was at UJ, our then Vice Chancellor, Prof. Chilidzi Marwala.
He's now in Japan, right?
In Japan, yes, at the UN University.
Is something of that nature? Yeah.
He's a top guy there. And if you look at Prof. Marwala, right, when he took the Vice Chancellorship of the university, he was big on 4IR, right, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and a big part of it was AI, machine learning, and I think I stand to be corrected, but UJ was one of the first universities in the country to have like an AI course.
Okay.
In a way, short course. It's just around AI,
AI.
but
Okay.
because he believed in it so much, and now I'm like, he saw it coming. Like a while back. That man was a visionary.
You can't ignore that. That's the thing.
He was, guys. He was like, if hypothetically speaking, right?
Yeah.
If the leadership of this country listened to him at that time, and we should have came up with our own DeepSeek. If you think about it, we should by now having our own ChatGPT.
Definitely.
He even advocated for the use of African languages, in these AI models.
Yes.
But anyways, I like to think maybe there's something coming. The boat hasn't sailed yet. But going back to my point around the topsy-turvy time, coming and going. This one will go at some point, and something else will come up. And if you look at some of the world's strong brands, yes, they don't ignore the topsy-turvy times. They embrace them. They take or they leverage what they can leverage, but they still stand true to who they are as a brand and why they exist, and the emotional connection that they build with customers, and hence they're able to continue to grow in the times that they find themselves in. That's why branding is very important. That's why it's important for entrepreneurs to sort of shift their mindset from, say, I'm running a business to I'm building a brand.
I'm building a brand.
Because there's a fundamental difference between business and a brand. Business is day-to-day, transactional, in a way, sort of short-term mindset, because you just want to make money. That's all you care about, right? How much are we making today? How much are we selling today?
That's exactly what we care about.
So when we're building brands, we're thinking long-term. We're building relationships with our customers. We want customers to have an emotional connection with our products and services. And we stand for something. We don't adopt every trend that comes our way.
Yeah.
If there's a new TikTok challenge, we are there. But even though it doesn't really speak
to our brands,
to what we stand for and what this brand is about. So I see it as another, like, if you think about social media platform or tool that you can use to enhance your brand, that you can use to, like you said, maybe produce work a lot quicker so that you remain competitive. But it's not going to make your brand.
No, that's correct.
And also, then another thing is, like any other tool, you can have the most expensive bicycle, carbon fiber and everything. But if you don't know how to ride it, that bike is useless.
It's useless, yeah.
The same thing with AI. You have to have the skills, you have to have the capabilities to leverage off the platforms.
Interesting. I like your tech, but definitely we need to adapt to the changing times.
Of course.
Right? For us to survive in the near future, because if you look at the trends, if you look at the topsy-turvy times I talk about, the 2000s, of course there was a rise of social media. But we had early adopters and influencers at that time. And those who were laggards, they were left behind.
Absolutely. And like anything in life.
Yeah.
I mean, Facebook was not the first social media platform.
Yeah. Sorry. Which one was your first one? Now I'm changing the story. It was Mixit.
But in the bigger scheme of things, Facebook was not
the first one. Yeah.
But they were the first ones to get it
right. Of course.
You get me?
Yeah.
So there will always be those that are pioneering this AI thing. And who knows, like now, for example, they say DeepSeek is better than
OpenAI.
ChatGPT. The AI platform that will perfect it won't be these two. Or maybe there'll be a new player. And
Russia hasn't said anything.
And it will shape the next.
I'm still waiting for Russia. They haven't said anything.
10 years.
They haven't said anything. So probably Russia is going to come up with something.
Absolutely.
That's
we can wait and see.
Probably South Africa. I've seen a lot of young entrepreneurs.
Kenya.
There's some silence from Nigeria. I don't understand. I know they're always ahead in Kenya, but there's some silence. Maybe I haven't heard about their products at the moment. And I've seen a lot of young South Africans, entrepreneurs that are delving into AI, African AI, or whatever it is that they're calling it. I think it's quite interesting, and I think it's more we need to adopt so that we can, of course, it's a trend that's going to die. and the brands will still survive, like you are saying. And I agree with you 100%. It's better to build your brand than to build your brand on trends.
Because then, if you're building your brand on trends, you have to constantly
jump with the trends.
And remember, brand building is about consistency.
Yes, that's correct.
Consistency is key when you are building a brand, and consistency in how you sound and how you appear, and how you sort of show up in the market, the products. Like, for example, you exactly know that if you buy chicken licken,
yes,
how it's going to taste. Right?
If that taste changes, I know.
You immediately.
Why is KFC at chicken licken?
That's why some people are aiming for chicken licken, because they know the satisfaction that they'll get because of the consistency of the brand.
On the brand.
Of how it tastes and how it's packaged and.
Okay.
So if you're building your brand on trends, you're gonna fall short at some point.
Definitely.
Imagine chicken licken tomorrow, because now, for the past, 5 or 8 years or so, veganism was on the rise.
Yeah.
Then now they adopted that. Now chiki, there's something else that's happening. People are now eating, I don't know.
So which means they maintained their...
So now
you can't really going with the trends of what's happening. Yeah.
Because a brand is a promise made and a promise delivered.
Interesting. So you have spent a lot of time on brands, right? Is there any South African brands that probably died and you thought they shouldn't have died? Or are there any brands that you think this is a brand to look out in the next 5 years?
Sure. I'd say, die, I guess, I don't want to spend time on brands that shouldn't have died. Because, any business that closes its door, there are many reasons why, and for most parts we'll never know the real reasons.
The real reasons. But let's keep it to branding, not to
business per se.
Business per se.
But there are interesting brands that I think are emerging in South Africa, and across, I'd say, various sectors of the economy. If you look at the past, I'd say 8 years or so, or let me just say 10 years or so, it would have been almost, for lack of a better word, right, virtually impossible to wear proudly South African brands from head to toe.
Okay.
And I'm saying cool stuff, not just
definitely
a plain T-shirt that was made somewhere in Woodstock, Cape Town. A brand.
I don't know why Woodstock is catching strays, but it's okay.
No, it's not catching strays. Or somewhere in JP, in town, in those factories that had no, sort of stature or place in society. It was just a plain T-shirt. But today, things have changed. We've got freedom of movement.
Yes.
Comes, I think, out of Stellenbosch somewhere. Very good brand that's growing in popularity. We have Tepo.
Yes. Tepo jeans.
Tepo jeans. You've got Batu that makes good shoes. You've got from a makeup perspective or brands, you've got Switch, you've got Hermosa Floor, you've got a plethora of brands that are just, beautifully, produced, curated, and managed from a food perspective. Also, you've got Bo Native Nosi, you've got Khemere, you've got brands that are really.
I think Galaxy Boy is doing well also.
Absolutely.
I just see these young people wearing Galaxy Boy all over the place. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, right. So those brands, in my view, those are the brands that, in the next 10 years, they would have changed.
I'm gonna ask you a controversial brand.
If you look at also in the insurance space,
there's one I want to ask you. One controversial, one Uber in Centurion for Afrikaners. It's called I forgot the name, but They were the
Wakanda,
Uber.
what?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
The brand looks very nice. I don't want to lie. In terms of branding, that looks very nice and appealing.
This is a podcast you're allowed to Google because we need to get them right.
Definitely. I wouldn't know about their stance and their approach to say maybe it's only meant for Afrikaners or Afrikaners.
Vanuatu. Yeah,
Vanuatu. Yes. I thought it really is a good looking brand. When you see it, it looks professional and everything.
Yeah.
But of course the politics behind it is something that is different.
Yeah. So obviously, a brand is more than just a logo or how it appears. It's about how it connects
with the people.
With the people.
What do you think about that brand?
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I've got two thoughts about it in a way. Obviously, there's one school of thought says, it's exclusionary.
Yes.
In a way, because they say they only employ Afrikaans-speaking drivers, and if you can't speak Afrikaans, then you can't. And in a way, also it means it accommodates a certain
group of people.
But also on the other hand, there's also a school of thought that said maybe the reason why they came up with this brand, is because they saw a gap that a particular group of people
will fit. Yeah,
will fit
their niche market.
Absolutely,
it's available for that.
Absolutely, and if you think about it, many brands before they went mainstream, they all started
with a niche. Yeah,
do you get me?
You never know.
You will never know, but it's a very interesting brand. I mean, most people don't know actually. There is a what do you call this? An insurance brand under the Teddy Shaw group that caters for Afrikaners.
Really?
And it's crazy how people are not up in arms about that particular insurance.
But then, if it's your business, it's in private business. You have a niche market, you understand. And this niche market is saying it's Afrikaner-speaking people.
Yeah, but if you think about it, because if you think about it, it's the same. I'd say it would be the same thing as Vanuatu and this insurance brand that caters to Afrikaans speaking people, And if you think about it, then maybe even that one is more. Who knows that? Because it's within a group, right? The other, what do you call it? The other insurance holders are subsidizing this one because this one is caters for very small, and there's a high chance that they pay less premiums.
It goes unchecked and becomes very discriminatory.
So if there was noise or much noise that's needed to be made around, I wouldn't even focus on the Uber thing because even with insurance companies, there's plenty of options, but we'll look into this one.
True. And then I wouldn't do justice by not mentioning the Taxi Association brand of an e-hailing. They do have that. They have an e-hailing as well, the Taxi Association.
Yes.
I forgot the name.
The Santaco one,
Santaco one, they have their own. Yeah. Because I know there was articles where they were forcing the Uber driver to be doing e-hailing on their platform than Uber.
Of course, yeah.
So that's another brand. But I think from you as an expert on brands, maybe what I want to hear is the rate of adoption of those more of brands that are targeting to niche markets, but not mass market. Because Uber came in with a strategy, and Uber was adopted everywhere.
Yeah.
But then this vacant, what would you think is the rate of adoption, or this Taxi Santaco e-hailing platform as in a brand? What would you think about those brands?
I mean, obviously, if you mentioned Uber, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
In a way that, you can go to New York, you'll be able to catch an Uber.
Yes.
You can go to France somewhere, you might find it Uber. Vanuatu, from a scale perspective, it won't work in London, UK.
Definitely.
It won't work in Sydney, Australia.
It's localized.
Or maybe it can, because now obviously, or maybe it can even work in America, when in Texas somewhere.
Maybe Texas somewhere.
Or Detroit, but in reality, looking at the taxi one, the Taxi Association one, you can't force people to take your own. It's ridiculous.
It is.
We live in a free market economy where consumers can choose what really works for them, and ultimately the consumer, I feel, has the power. Even in the case of Vanatu, Sharp, if they want to cater for their own people and they think they'll make decent money out of it,
that's their niche market.
That's their niche market. Maybe they should cater for them,
Yeah.
But in the end, the consumer will buy into what they think they connect with and where they get value for money.
You know what, Pat, we have got more and more that we can talk about, but I would like to thank you for joining me on this podcast. Before I close, do you have any question you want to ask me? And I can respond. But also, I need you to leave details for Lerato Agency to say how do people reach you for Lerato Agency if they need any marketing services from your agency.
So the question I want to ask you, if you're president for one day,
oh my goodness,
what will it change?
Okay, I thought that was going to be a marketing or tech question. Now I'm a president for one day.
You have carte blanche.
Now,
anything.
I think it's more inclusivity of in South Africa perspective. I do believe as a president, I need to disrupt the old way or a culture of how things have been done for over centuries, because I feel like they favoring of a different kind of people within South African context, where the black child doesn't have these opportunities. Because if it took us more than 10 years to establish an agency, how long did it take another child from another household who's a different skin color from us?
Got you.
Do you understand? If then they can accelerate or assist the black child to or open up the market, probably open up the market, because I don't think we need funding, because we never got funding from to where we are right now, Pat.
Interesting you say that, because actually your home boy or brother, Strive,
yes,
at the World Economic Forum said Africa doesn't have a shortage of entrepreneurs,
no,
but has a shortage of funding.
Yeah, I know there's a shortage of funding, but funding leads to corruption. From what I've learned, I've got first-hand information of what happened during COVID, whereas business funding was open for businesses, but to get to that funding, there was a lot of, many hands in the cookie jar, and I think it's just a matter of opening up the opportunities of that.
Let's agree to
disagree. No, thank you.
Yeah, Lerato Agency. Website is www.lerato.agency. Our contact details are on the website. We're on social media as Lerato Agency. And if you wanna take your brand, to the next level, you want your customers to fall in love with your brand, do contact us.
Thank you, Pat.